using one green for the BSI residents, the McGeechees, it's gold, one green. You're using that,
Both greens.
yeah, for the 3 days. And then the Peace Finlay, which is during the day and Saturday, Sunday. In June, we've got the Interclub Women's thing,
Yeah.
and that is 3 to 7.
Yes.
Okay. Do you have, okay, why don't you do it for yourself?
I guess I should pull up a sheet.
There's something going on that.
Something's not right there.
Yeah, but,
Now's our time to cancel it.
we could save it for something that will pop up at any time. That's okay.
Oh, yes, okay.
Yeah, let's cancel, thank you.
All right. Then this one is our
Well, welcome to Island Bowls Live, the inaugural sailing of Island Bowls Live on YouTube. It is great to have you here with us. This, by the way, is a culmination of 4 months of overthinking on my part, as I desired to try and bring the game of lawn bowls on the island to a larger audience. And you know, for me putting this thing together, it's been a culmination of many hours of sweat equity put into trying to bring this thing to life. My name is Jeff Polton. It's great to be with you today, and thanks for joining in. It's going to be you know, a bit of trial and error, I have to be honest. But at the end of the day, we are thrilled to be here with you. And I've got alongside me Bill Mills, also
Hi.
from the Victoria Bowls and Croquet Club. Bill,
Hi.
great to have you with us here
Thank
today. Just for you know, the audience's edification, how long have you been bowling?
2 years for me, and it's been quite the experience. You know, it's a lot of fun.
And what brought you into bowling?
Well, I moved into the area, and this course, this field was right here, and I decided to check it out and fell in love with it after I bowled 4 bowls.
You know, it's funny. When you know, my wife and I got into this the same way. We were walking by the club one day, and Chris Jones, who was responsible for the greens at the time, asked us whether we wanted to bowl. My first answer, Bill, was no, thank you very much. You know, lawn bowling. But you know, I picked up the first bowl and rolled it down the around the course, and it was less. Woo, I'm hooked.
Right.
So
yeah.
hooked that you know, now you see Island Bowls Live here on your screen, and. So today is very much a bit of a dress rehearsal. I have to be honest with everybody. Some things are going to get clunky here in terms of the overall process. I'm just trying to get to a point where we can get the broadcast to function properly. So this is the first one. So our contestants today, our combatants today, it's going to be very interesting because we've aggregated a couple of terrific bowlers here, 4 terrific bowlers, Bill. 2 of which who have been with the club for a little bit, and 2 of which who are going to be relatively considered rookies. They're into their 2nd year, and we'll introduce those to you. We'll introduce those to you as the games go on. But for now, we're going to get into our game. Now it's going to be a 12-ender, pairs. So there will be you know, 4 bowls for each bowler coming down the track, and total score wins the game. It's Bobby Jean Charlton and Susan Shiphorst against Nick Bantock and Joe Shiphorst. That's correct. Joe and Susan are married. This could get ugly.
Hopefully not.
Hopefully not. Hopefully not. But they're kind enough to kind of you know, put themselves out there today as I figure out kind of the technical back end of running a live stream on YouTube. By the way, I do have my YouTube dashboard up, and if you're watching, I'd love you to drop a comment into the YouTube stream, and just let me know where you are watching this from. That would be terrific, and would help me, you know, understand kind of what you're seeing on your end, and you know, give you a better understanding of who's viewing us at the moment. So we'll get the game underway here in just a moment.
Just to let you know also that Nick will be the skip for his team, and Bobby Jean will be the skip for her team.
Right. Right.
She won 2, and
And our leads are Joe
like,
and his wife,
instead of asking Brett
Susan.
for,
So we always start off every game the same way, and when that is by rolling the jack, and you know, that you know, sets the game into motion, and essentially, Bill, the nature, the purpose of the game is to try and get your bowl as close to the jack as possible.
Right, that's the whole purpose of the game. And the more bowls you get to the jack, the more points you can earn.
Right. Okay.
no, she was having problems, and she was seeing somebody, and then of course her daughter died, and so just kind of backed away from everything.
Yeah, so I didn't contact her about coaching this year, and I.
No, she hasn't contacted Annie, but she contacted.
So when it
me
comes to
when
lawn
the
bowling,
summer dog-
Bill, what's the purpose of the lead? What's their job? What are they supposed to be doing?
Well, the lead,
Trying to do.
what I usually do when I'm leading is try to get one on the jack and three
I mean, it's,
behind the jack in
but
sort of a semicircle.
Okay.
And that sort of leaves it open for your skip to
I don't know how.
either push the jack back to yours
I think Stan
or just get close to the jack himself.
just
So
went to.
you don't necessarily want your bowls in front of the jack then?
She was.
Not really. You either want it right on the jack or preferably behind the jack.
Right. And the reason you want your bowls preferably behind the jack is because that little white thing will move, could move during the game, yes?
That's right. And that's why you want one on either side of the jack behind and one right behind the jack.
Right.
I don't think an email
Right.
would hurt.
No, okay, yeah,
You know.
because I didn't send her one, but then I was thinking, yeah, it might actually be a good thing for her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's time.
So the leads
She might,
bowl their bowls first. They'll bowl 4 of their bowls, and then the skips rather will take on from there.
Yeah.
whole
The
routine.
closest to the jack is how it's scored, and the moment that's Joe Shiphorst seems to be closest to the jack.
Where it's all bad memories and people coming up to them over and over again.
Yeah.
I know.
In some of the shots we have two. You have two shots. You've got a forehand and you've got a backhand shot.
Right.
Your forehand shot comes in from the right to the left, and your backhand shot comes in from the left to the right.
Unless you're a lefty.
Unless
Well, yeah, that's right. Is that right?
I think so.
I'm a rare lefty. Each bowl has a bias. And, you know, each of the 4 bowls the bowlers will be using today have the same bias on them. But bowls have different biases. And those biases dictate how that bowl will travel on its way to the jack. It makes an arc, which is kind of what got me hooked into the game, Bill. You know, I
Right,
love
yeah.
seeing the arc.
It's the whole thing.
The whole quiet motion of that.
Yes. It's a thing of beauty when you get it to work properly.
Now, some bowls have a wider bias than others. Here's Nick Bantock's bowl. It's a terrific shot. Some bowls have a wider bias than other bowls, and that can make a difference in the game as well when you're trying to, get around a jack or getting around a bowl in the front of a jack.
Yes.
So it is quite strategic. There's a Bobby
Another
Jean's
beautiful
bowl.
shot.
Terrific shot there. Bobby Jean uses Drake's Pride XPs. Here's Nick Bantock.
And he's coming in fairly. That was a forehand shot.
Do you have,
Or if you decide not to, just let me know if you change your mind. Including the.
Here's some Bobby Jean info.
Let's see what Bobby Jean's going to do. Oh, she's a forehand shot also.
Nick Bantock's been playing for 3 years, but he's an absolute terrific bowler.
oh yeah, he actually does if you say you need.
He's done very, very well.
So we have, I think, 15.
He's pretty deadly, I have to admit.
He is pretty deadly.
We're holding a markers clinic here. Yeah,
Nice-
on
nice
the
shot.
30th of April.
And you can see Bobby Jean's accomplishments.
It's,
The list is lengthy.
yeah,
But even Bobby Jean's only been bowling for 7 years.
end of April 30th, it's a Wednesday.
Bobby Jean did it the same way that we did it. She decided to, go into
1 o'clock.
and try bowling and fell in love with it. And,
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
it was the camaraderie that she found when she was bowling also.
right.
And she had a good mentor that showed her how to play the game.
Yep.
and she's hard at it.
In fact, one of the things that she wanted to make sure we did is we shouted out her mentor, who is no longer with us, Graham Jarvis, and who she said really took her under his wing and gave her the encouragement to take the game up on a more serious basis. And she's just, she's a legend at the club.
Yes. Very keen.
You can see here, Bill, that Bobby's taken an opportunity to go down to the head. The head is where the bowls are. Why is she doing that?
She wants to see the position of all the bowls since it's her turn, and she wants to know how she's going to work her way into that jack.
Right. Right. Because from where you're delivering your bowl, you can't really always tell where the placement of the bowls actually are in relation to
Yes,
the in relation to the jack. So you kind of need to go down there and take a look. I know I've only been at the game a short time, but I can tell you that that if you don't take that opportunity, you might throw something down this.
Yes, and that happens quite often. People don't take the time to go down and check it out, and when they do make their bowl,
Right.
they find out they've done something wrong.
Right. Okay, so Bobby Jean's on the score sheet there.
And that was the first end.
So we're going to be playing 12 ends here today. That's the first end.
Now the team that starts the bowl has the option of putting the mat where they want to place it.
Right. Now, in our case, our greens at the Victoria Bowls and Croquet Club are 34 meters, which means the jack must travel a minimum of 21 meters from the front of the mat. And if it does not, as it did there, it gets re-rolled by the opposition. In places like Australia, overseas, the minimum placement of that mat is 23 meters, but here it's only 21 meters. Once the jack's been re-rolled, because it didn't meet the minimum distance standards, it will be back to the initial bowlers. So in this case, Susan will be rolling first.
Really testing all the equipment and everything.
It's a trial run.
Joe?
Joe's been bowling a little less time than I have, and he's very keen on bowling. He's really
bowler.
really done well.
Yeah, he's an excellent bowler and has really taken to the game. Susan and Joe have been bowling about 2 years. Susan won the novice championship at the club just last year, and has really taken to the game. Joe's also won the novice championship just last year. He's using Henselite Tiger size 3 bowls. Those bowls are the same bowls that I use, only from the perspective of the evolution of the bowls. His bowls are about 14 years old, and my bowls are 1 year old, and you can really tell the difference when you pick them up. My bowls are heavier, even though they're the same size theoretically. Susan's rolling size 1, Henselite Tiger 2s. So, again, these bowls, supposedly the Tiger 2s don't have as much bias as the Tigers.
Yes, you want to make sure that you can use your bowls to the best of your ability. So, I liked my bowls really have a good drift to them.
Right.
And I really like that. That's how I get in behind other people's bowls and get to the jack.
So Susan's bowls, as a lead, they're a little narrower than Joe's, but when you're in the lead position, the bias, you know, it matters, but maybe not as much, Bill, because you're not facing as many balls at that end when
That's
you're
right,
leading.
yes. Hmm.
Joe, it's like a great shot. It's a great shot. Now, we should say that our greens at the Victoria Bowls and Croquet Club today in particular are pretty slow.
They're pretty rough right now. We haven't had them cut with the weather for, I'd say well over a month.
Yeah. So
And-
we went through an unseasonably cold snap in January, which shut the greens down, warmed up, torrential rains, kept the greens shut. In the meantime, you know, the lawn maintenance had been moved to get, maintained, and here we are. So the greens are a little rough. It's a little slow. And so if you're watching from kind of overseas, you're going to notice that our greens are slow. Probably around, I don't know, Bill, 11, 12 seconds today.
I think so, yeah. Yeah.
Whereas if you're watching from Australia, you know, your greens are anywhere from 16 to 17 seconds.
Hmm.
So, you know, that's the difference that you have playing in and around Canada, and in particular in our area, in Victoria.
Pretty much can bowl year round
Yeah.
when the conditions are right.
Yeah, that's the great part about being in Victoria. We can bowl year round. Okay, it looks like Bantock and Joe are holding one. Bobby Jean,
This is
what a
coming in.
shot!
Yeah.
That's a great
Beautiful shot.
That's a great shot. Bobby Jean rolls Drake's Pride XPs, size 3s. In fact, Drake's Pride sponsors Bobby Jean, so you'll find that that's the equipment she's using. Nick is rolling Henselite Classics. Now, I forgot to ask him, Bill, whether they're size 2s or 3s.
I believe they're threes.
These bowls that Nick's using used to be club bowls. And there's a funny story. Oh, that's a great shot. Oh,
Oh,
excellent shot. Hard to tell who's, I think it's probably still Bobby
I
Jean.
think Bobby
hanging
Jean still got it by a few inches.
Nick was using the bowls that Joe has. Nick was using last year, and he did very, very well. But like a lot of bowlers, they get antsy, so they want to try other bowls. And so at the end of last year, Nick decides he's going to use a size 5, and he enters the tournament, which, by the way, he ended up winning. But by the third game, there were 5 games he had to play over the 2 days. By the third game, his shoulder was about to fall off, because a size 5 bowl is a pretty big bowl and a pretty heavy bowl.
Yeah.
And by the 5th game, he had pretty much had it. Now, he ends up winning the tournament, nonetheless. But it was a good lesson for me, in that you really do have to pay attention to the size of the bowl you're using.
Yes.
Because if you're rolling a lot of bowls, it can really add up in a short period of time. So he's now trying to find his path back to what bowls he's most comfortable with.
Okay. Bobby Jean's looked it over, and let's see what she can do.
If you're looking to connect with Island Bowls Live, there's your connect information. We'd love to hear from you. This is an important bowl. Bit outside. See, when you have greens like we have today, which are longer, considerably longer than we normally have them,
Yes.
sometimes you take the bias out of the bowl because you have to roll it a little more firmly. And, as you saw there, that bowl did not come in for Bobby Jean at all.
Nope, that's for sure.
This is an important bowl for Nick. He's close. He's close.
That's a
He's
forehand.
close. Oh, what a shot. What
Okay.
a shot. That's a great shot. So here again is an example of Bobby Jean, trying to figure out exactly what it looks like down at the head. The lead has a role to play here, though, Bill, in terms of how she, or in this case Susan, she communicates with Bobby Jean, right?
That's right. Yeah. You know, the skip will always want to know where the jack is if she can't see it, and that's when the lead will just put their hands out behind the ball to
Right.
show them where the jack is.
Right. Communication from your lead is critical. It really helps you set your next shot up. It helps you settle your mind on kind of where you want to try and place your bowl. Lead plays a critical role.
It definitely sets up things for the skip. That's for sure.
So here's Nick trying to get a second. Is he in there?
Oh,
What a great shot. I think they might be lying through.
I think they're looking at 3 right now. Yeah, I'd say 3.
Let's see. Looks.
So Nick and Joe took that for 3.
It's a great end for them.
So they'll be throwing the jack.
3-1 at the end of the second end.
And the weather's cooperating
Oh,
today.
it's been gorgeous the last couple of days. The other critical strategic decision that skips and leads make is where you want to place the jack.
That's
Now,
correct.
why
yes.
is that? Like, how does that play into the game?
Well, placing the jack, you know, you either want it long or you want it short or you want it in between, and it's just how you are feeling with your roll where you want it.
I know that last year I played in a novice tournament, South Island novice tournament, and I was losing badly. I was losing very badly. And I decided that I was going to move the mat up. And I moved the mat up quite a distance, and then I rolled the jack close to the ditch at the trail end, and ended up carving out 10 or 11 points in that game. And afterwards, the guy I played said, you know, it really psyched him out. You know, he wasn't used to having the jack or the mat be moved up as much. So where you place the jack as a lead or as a skip or
That's
is really
right.
critical.
I watched that game. It was a good game. You really turned it on.
Well, you know, I still ended up losing because I was behind so badly, but it was
It was a
good.
vast improvement.
It was for me, and psychologically, it also. I mean, the game is very much psychological. You know, you play on momentum and confidence,
Right.
and if you start scoring suddenly, yeah, your opposition gets a little less confident, and you get a little more confident, and
It's a two-way street, though.
Yeah,
You know,
it
I mean,
is.
you can be doing really well for the first 3 or 4 ends, and then something happens, and
right.
you're not.
Right. I mean, it can turn quickly. I mean, that's the other thing about the game, I think, which is great. Even if you're not doing very well and you're not maybe bowling your best game, it can turn pretty quickly.
It can, yes, and you know, it's just the fact of getting out there for the fresh air and
It's a great shot by Susan.
camaraderie.
Oh, yeah.
You know, that's a lot to do with the game too.
right.
You meet a lot of neat people playing this game.
Best part about the game, I think, are the people you meet, frankly, and the laughs you have on the green. That's a great shot by Joe. So that's a toucher. It's, you know, maybe explain quickly what a toucher is.
Yeah, if the ball hits the jack, it usually gets marked so that if you're close to the ditch, as I call it, it is counting
Right.
if the jack goes into the ditch.
Yeah. So we call those a toucher. And usually they would get marked. We're not going to do that today in today's match, but usually they get marked. Certainly they get marked in a tournament, so you can determine which one's the toucher.
Okay, now we got these skips ready to
So that's
bowl.
the skips bowls.
That was a forehand shot.
Bobby Jean, a little short.
Yeah, it's hard to judge right now with the greens the way they are because they're so thick. But they're doing a pretty good job of getting them to the jack.
Yeah. It does, you know, when the greens are this long, it does make it more challenging. It's a nice shot.
And that was a toucher.
Right. It's Bobby Jean, just a little inside. It's hard to determine.
It's hard to determine too. Also, you know, when you got so many bowls that are looking that close to the jack, all looking the same distance, you measure.
Right.
We have a tape that you use to hook onto the jack and then measure out to the bowls to see which one is closest to the jack.
Right.
And then you take from then on, you measure to see the next closest and so on. That's how you make your points.
And only the team that's the closest scores in that end.
That's right.
So, Bobby Jean. Looks a tad inside.
A really good game is when you can keep the score to 1 each time
Right.
you bowl. That makes for a really, really, really good game.
This is Nick with his last bowl.
I got this going, and I can't hear you very well.
Oh.
Have we mentioned anything about the mat yet?
No, we haven't.
Okay. We use a blue mat, and the mat is where you bowl from. You have to have 1 foot on the mat when you bowl. And that's lined up with the jack when you first start bowling.
Right. Okay, this is a big bowl from Bobby Jean. Looks outside. Yeah, you know again with these greens, it can be difficult to really gauge, especially in the first few ends.
There's 2 points.
Is that Bobby Jean got those 2 points?
And of course, you see Joe using the rake right now. That's an important tool for bringing all the bowls to.
You know, it's
To the
funny
right
when you
side.
watch, you know, pretty much anywhere else in the world, they don't use. You watch on you know, YouTube, where they don't use the rake, but it makes it faster. You know, I think, to gather the bowls up and move them to where they need to go.
Yes. Handy little device.
Just seeing Bobby Jean center that jack, it's part of the process. When the jack is rolled down the green, it's centered right in the middle of the rink. And that's also the lead's responsibility to direct where that jack ends up.
That's right.
Center of the rink.
Yep. It's usually a diamond that you'll see that they line up the jack with when they throw it down
Right.
the lane.
It's a good first bowl from Susan. Great stuff. You'll notice on the end boards, there's numbers indicating the rink. In this case, we're using rink 1. And that number in the middle of the rink is essentially the dead center of the rink. And you've got 1 on either end. And that's how you line your jacks up.
Have you told them our location yet?
I have not. Go ahead.
Okay, we're in Victoria, down by Beacon Hill Park, off of Cook Street. We have 2 really nice fields, which we also have croquet, which is also quite popular. But the bowling field is beautiful. As far as it's one of the best I've seen.
You know, the interesting thing about the club, Bill, is that there's 11 of them on the South Island. You know, there's no shortage of lawn bowl clubs kind of out in this area. Susan's bowling terrifically well here, holding 3. Oh, that's a good shot. Oh,
Well, Joe's
Looks-
helping her out a bit.
looks like Joe's maybe cut them down.
And that was a forehand
There's
shot.
a forehand coming in.
It's
Not a bad placement.
yeah. It's,
I mean, maybe you'd want the ball a little bit further behind if you're not going to get on the jack.
that's true. You might want one a little further back, but they're sitting pretty good right now.
This one's right. So you know, the way this head is setting up here as we watch, you know, you've got 3 orange bowls essentially behind the jack, 1 blue bowl directly behind the jack. Those bowls out front aren't useful anymore, which is why you've mentioned off the top that really short bowls are not useful in the game.
They're not. Well, they can be useful. You know, I mean, a person doesn't want that to happen. They don't really want it out in front. But your skip can use those bowls by wicking into the jack.
Right. So they have their place then. They have their role, is what you're saying.
Yep. You use whatever you got.
Yeah. And sometimes you want to throw a blocker out there, you know, to try and make it more difficult for a skip to take,
Oh,
take your
definitely.
shot out, you know. So there are times where you want your bowls maybe to be a little short.
Usually that'll be up to the skip on where he wants you to put the
Right.
bowl.
You'll notice that every bowler has their own distinct delivery approach. You know, they have their own way of holding the bowl. They have their own way of rolling the bowl.
Their stance, yes.
Their stance is different. And I think, you know, That's a-okay. There isn't one way to do this. And you'll notice watching Nick and Bobby Jean, Joey and Susan, that they all have a different approach, and they're all very good at it. It's a nice bowl from
nice one.
Bobby Jean. It's great in there. Nice. So it looks to me like they might be holding 3. Nick's got to do. Nick's got his work cut out for him here.
Oh, Nick is pretty shrewd when it comes to that.
And you know, you never count Nick out. Like, look at it.
Look at this.
Fantastic. Oh,
There
what
you
a
go.
shot. What a shot. Wow. So that's how it's done. You know, Nick was facing 3, draws 1 right to the jack.
And
Now the pressure's on Bobby Jean. And you can see Bobby Jean, you know, communicating with Susan, asking Susan where the jack is, you know, how far away Nick's bowl might be from the jack, if at all, you know. So she's really critical in relaying information to Bobby Jean to make her shot as effective as possible.
And here it comes.
Here it comes. Oh.
Oh,
Oh.
oh well. You know, I always say you've got 1 shot out of 4, and that's the one that's going to do it for you.
Isn't that the way? I mean, at the end of the day, you do have 4 bowls each, and you have to find a way in bowls just to let a shot that didn't go the way you want. You just got to let it go.
That's right.
And, you know, and move on, because you got 3 more bowls or 2 more bowls or a bowl left.
Mm-hmm. You know, you've got that 1 bowl in your hand, and you're going,
Yep.
this has got to work.
This has got to work. So you see there, Nick tried to throw a bit of a blocker out front to obstruct Bobby Jean's bowl, but it went maybe a little too far across the head. This is Bobby's final bowl. Down 1 in the end, tied 3 at the end of the 3rd end.
Here it comes.
Oh, she sent some weight with it.
Oh!
Wow.
Okay, well,
Wow.
I see 1 point right now.
Yeah.
See if Nick can
Yeah.
add another.
So I think Nick thought Bobby Jean maybe had a bowl left. You know, it's interesting knowing that she does not have a bowl left changes his strategy maybe a little bit, because now he can more aggressively go after maybe getting a second shot in there. It's changed his perspective. That looks like a terrific shot. Looks like a terrific shot.
Oh, beautiful.
my
Beautiful
goodness.
shot.
Wow. What a shot. What a shot.
There's 2. And then they're going to... 2. They've decided 2.
2. All right.
That was some fine bowling by Nick.
All right, 5-3 for Nick Bantock. The end of the 4th end. Again, we're playing we'll play 12 ends here today.
This is a doubles game. We also have the singles, which is quite interesting too. And of course, we have the triples.
Right.
The triples. I like the triples. The triples is my game. I really like to get into getting around a whole lot of bowls.
Yeah, you know, my challenge with the triples or the quads is that you bowl less, right? You only have 3 bowls when you're bowling in triples, and
Right.
you know, in pairs you've got all 4s, or as a skip, of course, you've got 4s, and so I find my rhythm can get interrupted a little bit if you're in triples, and you don't bowl as much, and you wait a little longer because you got another person in the mix, right?
Right.
I much prefer pairs myself, but I understand. Oh, and that's a nice shot from Joe. So that's a toucher. You know, it's a different perspective. Fours for me, the quads, you know, you're only rolling 2 bowls.
Right.
So you know, it makes it a little more challenging. It's a good shot by Susan.
Hmm. It's always good to communicate with your skip.
Yeah, even early in the end, you know, I find I like skips that communicate early, you know, where they want the bowl, what the objective might be. You know, one of the things that I'm kind of learning as I move through my bowling career
Yes.
is the importance of building the head. You know, of
Right.
placing those bowls where they need to be.
Right. That's an important part of the game. Makes all the difference if you've got a good lead.
Yeah, yeah. A good lead really puts the pressure on the opposition if you are getting your bowls close.
Hmm.
Joe's got a nice bowl here.
We're sitting 2 at the moment.
Susan's delivery is, you know, what I would call the cradle. She doesn't really grip the bowl as she releases it, and
She lets it slide
she
out of
lets
her
it.
palm.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, and yeah, I would say probably that's. Would you say that's kind of an unusual way of? I mean, that's the way I was taught.
Right.
That was the way I was taught to bowl, but it didn't quite work for me. Joe's got the C grip. As you can see, he's got a good grip on the bowl, and
Yeah, I find that if you keep the bowls have ridges on
Right.
both sides of each bias, and if you keep your 2 fingers on those ridges and your thumb behind that, and just stretch right out when you bowl, you're going to get quite accurate.
neither gripper is wrong or right. It's just
That's
a
true.
personal preference. You know,
Right.
it's like whatever you feels good for you.
Right.
And for Susan, she's found success using what we call the cradle grip, I guess. And she's bowling terrifically well. But you know, for me, the C grip gives me a little more sense of control.
Right.
Is that what grip do you use?
I use the same as Joe.
Okay.
I use the ridges, grab the ridges,
Yeah.
and have the thumb behind,
Yeah,
and I get low.
yeah,
I get quite low when I bowl.
yeah.
I don't let it. There's no dropping out of the hand. You want the bowl to come out as smoothly to the ground as possible.
Right. Right. And you'll notice that the bowlers you're watching today have very, very smooth releases.
Yes.
You won't find them dropping the bowl. You know, the way they deliver the bowl is very, very consistent.
Some people get down, right down on their knee, and will actually walk after the bowl.
Yeah.
Just to sort of guide it along.
You know, it's interesting. I've started to experiment with walking after my bowl because my biggest challenge I have when I bowl is I don't stay down long enough to watch the bowl roll over my target mark, you know, and when I do that, I find that my bowl isn't as accurate. So I'm beginning to integrate a bit of a walk after my bowl, which forces me to make sure I'm trying to hit my target.
Oh, I see. Yeah, people do have it that way. I'm the type of bowler who likes to just stay down
Right.
until the bowl is at least halfway
down.
to the jack.
Yeah. Yeah, and again, it goes back to there is no right or wrong way to deliver a bowl. That's a good bowl from Nick. Nice shot. You know, if you're going to miss, missing long like this isn't a bad thing because if that jack gets knocked back, Nick and Joe are sitting too. The
Right.
blue and the black bowl there. Such a great game, lawn bowls. You know, it's very strategic, quite tactical.
You're out in the fresh air.
You're out in the fresh. It is physical. I mean, you are, you know, working muscles. I remember when I first lawn bowled. Well, I can't. The next morning, I could hardly move. I was shocked. And my legs hurt. My arm hurt. Oh, the muscles I hadn't used in a while. Here comes
Yes.
Bobby Jean's bowl. Looks great. Looks great. Oh,
Yeah, once you start playing when the weather gets good, it's hard to say I can't play today.
right.
You want to play.
Yeah.
You just want to get out and play.
Yeah. Nick's very deliberate in his delivery.
Thing about the club too is that there is no special time where you can come in. You know, I mean, anytime you want to come in,
Yep.
you can come in and practice.
Yep.
And you know, you get a few people together for a game, and it's there. It's all there for you to use.
Yep. You know, and let's be honest. Finding a club like this one to join for what is it, $300 for the year? It's an extremely affordable sport.
Oh,
and,
definitely.
Well, I bought my own bowls, and Joe's bought bowls, and people use club bowls here to this day, and it doesn't cost them anything to use those bowls. So the cost of the game is actually very affordable. And
Definitely.
like you say, 24/7 access to the greens is also pretty cool.
Definitely, it's the clubhouse. You know,
That's a great shot.
That's what I,
That's a
beautiful
great
shot.
That's a great shot. I got replay here. So you see that bowl coming in. There it is. Thing of beauty.
Sometimes the bowls out front do help.
Yeah, here comes Bobby Jean. Oh. We'll show that again. So Bobby Jean's just trying to nick that one and
Just trying to take it out.
just trying
so
to take it out of there, yeah.
That was a big 1 point.
1 point for Bantock.
Okay, so Joe is going to be throwing the jack. And let's see where Nick wants it today. Oh, well, got a long one.
Comes Joe. Joe's a retired social services worker. Just retired a couple of years ago.
Yes, he says the bowling keeps him nice and under control.
Oh, that's a great shot by Susan. What a shot. Oh, that's perfect. Yeah, Joe's one of the characters of the club. And, to be honest, that's what makes it fun. You'll notice that Joe's wearing a hat just like Nick, and I think he's wearing the same shoes. Yeah, he's wearing the same.
They're wearing the same
They're in
shoes.
uniform. They're in uniform. I just noticed that.
Susan's doing quite well.
She's doing great. She's doing great.
Oh, if she can put one when she bowls again, a little bit further back, where maybe about 3 feet behind the jack, that would be a good spot for her.
Yeah. Yeah. So you can see Bobby Jean kind of giving Susan her preference on which hand she's going to forehand or backhand, which hand she wants her to deliver the bowl. It makes a difference because the bowl comes in either from the right or from the left.
This is looking good.
This is looking good. Is it going to pull up just a bit short?
Mm-hmm.
But you see, so Bill, that bowl ends up out front.
Right.
It's definitely in front of the jack now.
Mm-hmm. She has.
It's not a bad bowl.
Yeah, they have to come in.
Now they
either.
have to come around it. Here comes Joe. It's looking good. Does it have enough weight? Does it have enough weight? No, not quite.
See.
So you see Bobby Jean again saying to Susan, "Look, here's how I want you to come in on this one."
She'll just have to put a little bit more
So-
pressure on the bowl.
So she's coming on her forehand.
It's coming in pretty good.
Is it going to get through? Is it going to get through? Oh, unlucky.
No, that's a good spot.
Is that a good spot?
That's a good spot for her because Bobby Jean can always push it back into the orange.
You might not realize this, but Bobby Jean, she's starring on a television show right now. And it's her 4th season. And if you are a CTV watcher, it's called Family Law. It's her, she's an actor by trade. It's cool to be out bowling with Bobby here on the green. She's just a terrific person, very, very generous with her time. But she's in her 4th season of Family Law on CTV. Pretty cool.
That is cool.
Speaking of cool, Nick Bantock,
Yes. Nick,
an author, published author, a million seller. He's had 11 books on the New York Times bestsellers list. 11.
he's published 30,
Yeah, published 30 books.
and he's an amazing artist.
Yeah. I think he told me he's provided the artwork for at least 300 publications.
Yes, he's. If you haven't seen his work, you should have a really
Yeah,
have a look at it.
He's most well known for the Griffin and Sabine books, and my wife loves them. And it's. But again, you wouldn't. These folks are humble.
Yes, you would
you would
know.
never know it. This is a great thing about lawn bowls. In fact, Nick didn't provide me with any information about his career, so I had to go digging, and that's how I found out about this stuff.
Yeah. Everybody's the same when you come and play bowl.
Yeah. Nice shot. Nice shot. I can't tell, is that
That's looking pretty good for Bobby Jean.
Bobby Jean's
She's on the
holding
jack.
one?
And she's got some pretty good back bowls there too.
All right. So you're Nick Bantock here. What are you trying to do? Bill, what do you?
Well,
What's
it's
your
kind of
strategy?
messy right now. Gee whiz. If he comes in,
Try and promote Joe's bowl right out front? Do you try and come around it?
if he pushes that bowl back, if he pushes that jack back, he's putting it right into the orange crush.
Okay.
But I can see,
Yeah.
he's doing,
Yeah, what Bill's talking about is because Bobby Jean's bowl's in front of the jack, a nudge on her bowl would kick the jack back into
Susan's bowl.
Susan's bowl, and so it's
But Nick has pushed his bowl in between the orange bowls.
yeah,
So
yeah.
that's cutting down. That's cutting down the count right now.
So you can clearly see Bobby Jean's trying to figure out
What to do?
what to do and how best to defend the point she has. In fact, I think she's got 2. I think she might be holding 2 there with Susan's bowl. It's close because Joe's bowl might be second shot.
Mm-hmm.
So you can kind of see Bobby Jean spending a lot of time talking about the options. That's the other thing about bowls, which is interesting, Bill. There's multiple different shots in before you deliver every bowl,
Oh, that's for
right?
sure.
And your job as a skip and as a lead, as a team, is to figure out which one is the most beneficial, which one will, if you miss it. you
Yeah,
know,
I mean, the consequences, if you
Right.
you blow your shot and you push everything to your opponent, and that's, I've done that before where, you're up 2, thinking you're going to get another point, and you push everything to the opponents, and
Right.
you end up losing 3.
That's short. So Nick's got his work cut out for him here. Certainly Bobby Jean and Susan are holding one.
He's looking at the outside bowl by.
Bobby Jean's outside bowl.
No, he's looking at the outside bowl by Joe.
Okay.
To see if he can maybe nudge that in.
Right. So really, this is the challenge for Nick: is how does he get in there? Is there a shot where that he sees that would provide him with an opportunity to take the end here? At the moment, it's a tough shot. It's a big shot. Bantock's up 6-3. Here it comes.
See, yeah,
Oh, I see what he's trying to do.
See, he missed. He
Yeah.
missed it. But that's what he was trying to do, was take
Yeah.
Joe's outside bowl, push it in.
Okay, so now Bobby Jean and Susan have an opportunity to try and score maybe 3 here.
I think she's been playing it safe.
Yeah. Yeah. It's tough because you don't.
You don't want to blow it. I mean, it's easy enough to do.
You don't. Yeah, exactly. You don't want to put yourself in a situation where the choice you've made is going to actually end up costing you. 3. Wow.
That was a good one. That was a good bowl by Bobby Jean.
This is quite the game. So 6-all in the 7th end.
That's tight. It's the way we like to see these games. Nick's very competitive.
You know,
he came in to find out what the score was.
That's Nick. He's very competitive. I asked him one time, how you describe lawn bowling. It was a great line. He said, Zen meets blood sport.
Yeah.
I thought, you know what? There's something there, I think.
A lot of people are coming.
He's a great guy to play against because you learn so much.
Yeah. Again, we're at the Victoria Bowls and Croquet Club in Victoria, and I'll give you a map of the area. That's kind of where we are. There we are in close up there. It's a gorgeous location, right in Beacon Hill Park.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah, they're the ones that got canceled last year.
And there's ample parking.
Yeah.
There's no problem finding a spot.
No. And at the end of the day, my mission, my islandbowls.ca mission is to try and just convince people to play the game. I think it's
Nice shot.
It's a great shot by Susan taking the jack. The bowling community is a terrific bowling community for sure, but we do need to get the participation numbers up. And I'm hoping that by showing live streams like bowls like this, competitive match it'll encourage people to try the game.
Yeah, please come out and try it. You won't know until you try it.
Yeah.
I mean, it just it could grab you. It'll just grab you if you just give it a whirl.
Yeah. Joe's just a little under.
Susan's putting them in there pretty
That's good.
You know, a lot of people probably out there think that it's an age game. You know, it's not really that way. A lot of people are starting to realize that
Right.
you don't have to.
Interesting because when I started bowling and really started to get into it, I began streaming lawn bowls from places like the UK and Australia. The number of young people playing lawn bowls was very striking to me. The average age of a lawn bowler in Australia now is 29. You know, and that's because they've really put some emphasis on the development of young people playing the game. There's now a Premier League lawn bowling league down in Australia. They play for real money. I watched a tournament last weekend, which was for $100,000 Australian. The winner took home 40 grand. There's music on the green, there's lights on the greens, there's all sorts of interesting things that make the game more interesting. They've introduced new rules like power plays and that sort of thing. And I think it's attracted young bowlers.
I think that a lot more young bowlers should be out there. You know, we have everything they need. All they have to do is just come in and at least try it.
Yeah, you know, the other thing about lawn bowling, I think, is, you know, it's one of those sports you can pick up pretty quickly, right? And you can get pretty good pretty quickly.
Definitely,
If
yes.
if you want. And you know, so it's if you have a competitive spirit in you, but you know, in the past maybe you didn't want to go for the soccer team or the softball team or whatever. Well, I can tell you, lawn bowling is something you really should give it a try to. I think you'd love it.
Not only that, but you know, you have all different calibers of people playing. You know, I
Right.
mean, you've got people like Nick and Bobby Jean and Joe that are, you know, really Susan, really good players.
Right.
But you know, during the week you have an open where you have all kinds of people show up and want to play, and you set up teams, and you may not, you know, have the greatest team, but at least you're playing. And everybody's enjoying themselves. That's what counts. And people are always learning new ways of throwing the rules or
Yeah.
getting good information from people that know what they're doing.
I mean, importantly, I think you can just do this for a social thing. You know, you don't necessarily have to be
Be
competitive.
gung-ho. No.
Right. You can just come out and have a good time. Looks like a good bowl. It's a nice shot.
Oh, nice.
That's a great shot. Yeah. So Joe's indicating that Nick and him are down 1. I love the matching outfits. You know, it took me to the 4th end to actually notice that, but Joe and Nick are. That's
Well,
Joe, though.
They just danced into the clubhouse before we started.
Oh, it's a
Nice
great shot.
Beautiful shot.
It's a great shot. So Nick promoted Joe's bowl onto his own bowl. So I think he's probably still holding 1 there, though.
Bobby Jean's looking for some info.
So what do you think? Do you think croquet players are terrible at finishing the green? Had mixed,
Is it going to get in there?
had mixed.
Oh,
Yeah, I
not
think-
quite.
I think there's a few that
Next shot.
are very competitive.
That's the beauty about bowls. There's always a next shot,
Yeah.
you know, and you can learn on the bowl that you maybe didn't go where you wanted to and make
know-
some adjustments.
Exactly. Some days your bowls are magic. Some days that magic's not there.
It is funny that the game is, I suppose it's like any game. Some days it's just you're right on, you're feeling good. And other days it's just a struggle. It's a great shot by Nick.
Right. You got to get, if you're really competitive, you have to get yourself in the right psych, you
Right.
know?
Right.
But I'm the kind of guy who just likes to play. I mean, sure, I'll put up a good game, but I'm not that keen on being the winner.
Right.
That's why I have to go look at Mary Lynn's flowers.
Oh, that just,
That's
gee,
that's an interesting shot. So it looks like Bobby Jean might have cut them down. In other words, they were holding two. Nick and Joe were holding two, and now Bobby Jean's. Maybe
I think Bobby Jean is
she
counting one.
Is she counting one?
I
Is she
think so.
holding one there?
I think
The one in front.
Yeah, the one in front. Let's see what Nick can do.
Yeah, they are, but I was gonna move them to the side, you know,
Oh, that's okay, great. Oh, just a tad short.
Slowed her down.
room, I might do that.
Yeah. So here's Bobby again. She's going to go visit the head end.
They're down there, they should be.
And they're up front meeting to see what's going on.
They are.
So again, with this head, there's many options for Bobby Jean to consider. If she's holding one, she wants to make sure that maybe she can get in there for two. But she also doesn't want to make the head any worse than it is. She doesn't want to cause herself
Right.
any anxiety there. So you're careful on your considerations on what your next
Oh,
bowl should
definitely,
be, right?
Definitely. I would, myself, I would come in with if I was down there, I'd come in with a backhand
Right.
and just sort of drifted in between those two,
Well out the front there.
the two bowls that are
Right.
up front.
But
I have a shady spot in the front.
You can see Bobby Jean using the old finger measure. During the course of the end, you're not allowed to use any mechanical measurement tools, so you can't really determine definitively whether you're shot if it's close. So you'll see a lot of bowlers cross their fingers and use that as a visual representation of who might be shot, and actually it's surprisingly effective. You can see pretty clearly if you're first or second shot.
That's right. So,
So she's-
I'm not sure what she's.
Yeah, she's given
wanting
some.
to
Is it possible that she's not shot? She's thinking about promoting her own
It is.
bowl.
It's quite possible. I can't get a clear view on that.
My plum tree's been blooming for weeks. And normally it's like,
Well, we're going to find out.
Yeah. This is a big bowl.
oh, yeah, I have some of those too. I should be gardening.
It's on its way. It's got some weight to it. It's got some weight to it. Oh, that was almost perfection.
I'm just,
I have to see the, what is the,
one, two,
I don't know that.
So to me, it looked like she was trying to promote her own onto the jack because in the back, right kind of right-hand corner,
Right.
you got three bowls there, and if you can bump that jack back there, could be line 2 or 3. It was a risky shot though, because if the jack goes the other way, you're giving a shot back to the opposition.
Right.
Joe's
Well,
bowl.
Nick's got the last shot, so
there is our July 10th. Well,
see what he does.
yesterday he cornered me and wanted to know, when the first tournament was and blah, blah, and all. He went through the
Here
whole
comes Nick Bantuck.
yeah,
and
yes, Jeff, I know. He always
Oh, he comes up just a bit short.
tries to win all the
Just a bit short.
wants to win them all.
Yeah, so, whereas I,
And Nick scored 2 points.
the only tournament I want to win is, Bobby Jean asked me to go to provincials with her.
Okay.
We win, we have to go to the nationals. And I said, "Oh,
All right. 8-6. Going to be bowling in the ninth end.
Oh,
And communicating the score
where
when they finally finish the round, they either tap their shoulder
Right,
to tell that they got the points,
right.
or they tap their leg to say that they've lost some points.
Right.
So, okay.
when are is it the women's pairs?
Well, it just says nationals.
All right.
And they brought the mat up.
Yes, they are, but no.
Yeah, no, so again, the placement of the mat is a strategic decision, and during the course of the game, if you're, if you think you can put one over in your opposition and make them think a little harder about their shots, you can move the mat around.
It's a head game.
So, Joe's trying to figure out whether or not they're 21 meters from the front of the mat.
It's just off Lonsdale. It's
So they're,
I think just right. They're just right. I
yeah.
think.
Yeah.
upper area.
Susan's got one from the 25th.
Oh, Bobby Jean's going to count it out.
It's important, if you're in doubt to measure it, because you can get the jack back. Bobby Jean, in other words, Susan could pick up the jack and roll, and she could move the mat back. She could say, well, I see you move the mat forward. We're going to take it back if you didn't roll it the right distance.
Right.
So it's important that when rolling the jacks is an important part of the game.
I will change this. So it's fourth?
It's a great shot by Joe. Good placement.
Good spot.
There's,
Let's see.
there's a bit of a running joke in the club. If you put your bowl behind the jack, it's like, a good backer bowl. But the reality is that is a good shot. You want your bowl
You're right.
behind
That
the
is
jack and wherever possible.
Gopal went into something at the men's.
Joe's got a very deliberate release. You'll notice he taps his bowl on the ground before he releases it. Helps him focus. Hard to argue with the results.
See, there's another good back bowl. That's what a lead should be doing.
Yeah.
Really.
It puts the pressure on Susan in this case to see, Joe's got too close. She sees that from where she is, and she's got to trying to get around it. Almost did it.
Joe's got the right weight.
This is a great shot. Great shot. Nice stuff.
Yep, that's good.
So that's setting up the head pretty well for Nick and Joe, because any movement of the jack back plays right into their
Their web.
that they've created. So Susan's got to get one close here.
It's below the highway. Just
Looks like a
it's
great
below.
shot.
This is a good shot. This is a good
You
shot.
actually are taking the
Nice.
ramp.
Nice. You see
That
that one
sort
again.
of puts the tension on the blue right
You can
there.
kind of see that bowl come in.
On the highway, and there's
Nice.
a road that comes off of that to get you to the bowling green. So you're taking the
Joe
ramp.
wants to be right on the jack now. He's got to be right on the jack. No,
Oh, I left a little short.
that bowl could be used for a wicking, which is it's not in a bad spot.
Right. Comes Susan's shot again. Actually, that's useful,
Yes, it is.
You move Joe's bowl out.
Opens it up.
It's going to be tight now. I think probably Nick and Joe are holding one, maybe. Looks like it.
I think one. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see what Nick can do.
Starts outside. Is he going to come in? Has it got enough weight? Get there. Nice shot. Looks, it's going to be tight.
They looped them from, they used to be by the community center and
Yeah,
got moved
yeah.
up east.
It's going to be tight.
Well, he is obstructing the jack.
They're not far away. No.
Bobby Jean's left her short. See, good example. If the green was nice and cut and firm, that would be right
That would
on
have been
there.
there,
Yeah.
Well, they wanted
You'll notice Nick is very deliberate. He'll stand off the mat until he knows what he wants to do, and then he gets on the mat. It's one of those things you need to think about. Once you're on the mat, you really should know what you're going to roll.
I met the manager of the parks department. They're holding an event here. Well, I'm just using the clubhouse. And so I met him here because he wanted to take a look at the clubhouse again because he hadn't been here for a while. And he said, if you guys ever think that this machine is down and things aren't going
Oh, Bobby Jean.
Bobby Jean,
She has to get on the jack.
she's
She
got to
just-
get on there.
Oh,
Nice shot.
Nice shot, yes.
You can kind of see how she splits both of those bowls. Nice shot.
Well, you know what, the neighbors will all come.
oh, especially over there.
Nick's coming with some up weight.
Oh, pushed in Bobby
I
Joe.
think Bobby Jean
Bobby Jean, sorry. Oopsie.
happens to all of us.
Why was it more, why is it noisier than?
Nice shot.
Oh, that is a nice shot.
That's a nice shot. You see Bobby Jean draws right between the two bowls.
They're sitting two right now.
Right.
It's not that, I mean, indoors it'd be even louder, right? But if you go by
It wasn't that bad, it was no different.
Here comes Nick.
I did.
It's the last bowl?
someone bashing against the backboard.
It's the last bowl. So there's something interesting, right? So Nick is on the mat. He's pretty certain of what he's going to do. Changes his mind. Gets off the mat. It's a way for you to kind of reset and rethink if you've had a change of mind, what you're going to do.
Well, he's down two. What can he do?
Is he going to get in there?
Oh,
So you can see, yeah, so he's trying to cut between these two bowls, and it just doesn't
Bobby-
quite get it.
Bobby Jean's got one bowl left.
She's got one left? Okay.
Lacrosse court.
Gonna visit the head. It looks like she's lying
I don't,
two or
I think I see three.
three?
I didn't notice it when I was going by.
Such a bad sound. I mean, is it worse than, construction
Or
going on?
somebody with their stereo going and playing boom, 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 and that's all you can hear?
Okay,
All right.
let's see what she can do.
Bobby Jean also wanted me to mention that Ursula has been a massive supporter of hers and allowed her to explore her love of bowls. So a shout out to Ursula today too. Is it going to get there? Is it going to get there? Oh,
Oh, that's looking good.
that's looking good for them. Let's watch this bowl come
It's
in.
either three or four.
Let's see.
Three.
Three for Bobby Jean.
I don't know why, they spend so much money on tennis compared to other things. Making, look what they did with that court.
Tight game. 9-8.
Great game.
I don't know, maybe, but I mean, you want to recognize professionals playing there. More people can play pickleball. Yeah, that's right, way more people. If you go up to Oak Bay where I was talking about, the pickleball courts are all crowded into that little thing, and there's like 8 tennis courts.
Okay, where does Bobby Jean want it?
You see, Susan's just allowing Bobby Jean to make sure the mat is centered on the rink.
To walk where we were staying, we would walk by this hotel that was a tennis club, and there were just people
You don't have, you have to move, you have to be stronger to hit them, you have to have better technique. Although it's not as bad as it used to be.
It's nice when you see a
with
good
wooden rackets.
close game.
Rackets, lots
Yeah.
of times monkeys are hit,
Yeah.
but still. Yeah, I don't understand it, so I used to know that really my sport, but.
Okay, the ladies get to go first.
Tight game, 10th end. Charlton 9, Bantock 8. It's a terrific game.
Yeah. Wimbledon. Wimbledon strawberries and cream.
Nice shot by Susan.
Great shot. It's a great shot by Susan.
South America, they play a game called Cabo, something like that. And it's a racket sport as well. And he really wanted, he's come to Victoria, he's living here now, and he really wanted to start that racket sport here. But Jeff just
Now, if Susan could get one behind the jack,
Yeah.
maybe 6 inches behind the jack, that would be just fantastic.
we're gonna bring him over.
You'll probably be strong, how old is he?
He's young, he's like in his early 20s.
That's a good back ball.
You take, it'll be so easy for him then.
Yeah. I don't think he would hurt his knees.
But you know, the best bowlers in the world are not all that age.
Yeah.
Like if you go to watch the world championships, there's not many old.
Nice.
Joe's looking to take the jack back.
Yeah.
But that is what, that's,
Good spot for Joe's bowls to end up, though.
Yes, it is. She needs one behind the jack or where Bobby Jean put her foot.
Can't leave it out front.
No, you don't want it out front. Oh, this looks pretty.
This looks good. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, that'll work.
Yeah. Well, one good thing if you can, if you're a Canadian player and you play, and you get even half this, if you're gonna be on the national team, it's hardly any,
Joe wants that jack.
get a trip to Australia or something.
well, and you know what, I think it's a really wisdom.
Doesn't take much, to roll your bowl along, and it's hard to, adjust the distance your bowl rolls
When the mat changes.
when the mat changes.
Maybe get people from the chess club or something.
Okay, that's where she wanted her to put it.
Nice. Ooh. Slid through.
Yeah, she.
But she's still in a pretty good
Not bad.
position.
The Simmons, it's in August. As always.
Oh. Okay. The good news for Nick is the jack's right there. It's not obscured by their bowls. Both Nick and Bobby Jean can see the jack pretty clearly.
This is going to be a good duel between
Yeah.
the skips.
Now you have to be all members of the same club. So that means.
This is going to be an interesting end because all the bowls are behind the
I
jack,
like that.
which raises the jeopardy level. If you happen to hit the jack and you hit it
But I've been saying,
in the wrong direction, depending on
Where the others
where
are
the others are
situated.
sitting, yeah, you could find yourself
In trouble.
in trouble.
To me, is,
it's like its own whole club.
yeah.
So I think Bobby Jean just wants to get on the jack.
Well, you know what, I think there's, from what my
God,
understanding.
her delivery is just smooth
So
as
it's very,
silk.
very smooth.
This looks good.
She,
This looks good. Oh, just maybe a tad short.
yeah, but that's what she was trying to do.
Yeah.
Well, actually, that,
I mean, who cares?
Nick's going to do the same.
well, as far as I'm concerned, at that meeting, the joint meeting, you do what you want.
That's right, if you wanna charge
And
$5 or
the,
$10.
Yep.
in Oak Bay has
Yep.
already changed the men's have always been different. The $3 was basically for the ladies,
Yeah, I know.
and, the $20 entrance fee was for the ladies. The men charge whatever
I think
they
she's got it this time.
Yeah, if you don't wanna pay it, don't go in it.
Yeah, that's it.
Go in, yeah.
She's,
Oh, just a little short.
she's plugging it up. She's plugging up.
And if you don't want to serve food, if your club's broke or you have no volunteers, just put Put on your, bring
Nick's
your
got a
own
tough shot here.
Put on your
He's got to try and get around those bowls.
refreshments available.
Yeah,
Bring your own.
the least you can do is have
It's,
tea and coffee. It's still that $3 for tea and coffee I could see, but nothing else. But,
Looks like a good shot.
well,
Looks like a
my
good shot.
husband-
Oh, that looks like a
Yeah,
good.
that was.
You can kind of see how it was just trying to get by the front bowl, and it just.
It just nicked.
Oh.
It just nicked that
Because it's
front
only
bowl
2
there.
games a day.
yeah,
They arrive, they play, they should eat their lunch.
and then go home. I mean, then play again and go home.
Yeah, eat their lunch, play, and then go
Okay.
home. So
That's a
there's
great shot. Great shot from Bobby Jean. Puts the pressure on. I think she's. I don't know.
I've upped
Hard to
the
tell who might be
Yeah.
holding there.
I was saying,
This is what you would call kind of a very loose end, you know? No one's really crowding the jack.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like there's room to get around Bobby Jean's bowls for Nick.
second have a beer and bag of chips.
I'd come in with a backhand myself.
Backhand, yeah. Yeah. The problem with going in with the forehand is you could end up promoting one of Bobby Jean's bowls. So
Exactly.
you kind of want to go around the backhand and see if you can't tuck it in.
I don't know, they set out to take away all the.
This is a big bowl.
It should be our decision whether we want to
Here he
have
comes.
a tournament that provides
It's going to get by. Oh, oh.
Oh. See those front
Yeah.
bowls are.
They do get in the way.
Yep.
what to do.
He was millimeters away from the perfect shot.
Okay, this is Bobby Jean's last bowl, so she wants to make sure she
Yep.
makes something out of it.
Yep. Again, we can't really tell who shot it. It looks to me like it's Bobby Jean and Susan.
And that might be a good time.
Yeah, it does, but it's hard to tell.
Hard to
Hard to tell
yeah.
right now.
Yeah, once a month or something. Hi.
This is a big bowl.
What you here for?
Yeah, what's happened in your life that you're here lawn bowling at,
I just got off the ice and had lunch at the curling club, and we had a short game, probably my biggest win ever, 17-2 in 6 innings.
Wow.
So I've got home from lawn bowling.
Okay.
Okay.
Just
Here
got
a
off
couple
the
of
ice.
times.
Lots on the line here for this last end. Sorry, second to last end.
Yeah, but as soon as April 1st comes, then I'm out of.
Oh, this looks.
This looks good. Oh,
Oh, beautiful, beautiful.
I can't do it. Yeah.
so you can see that she's trying to get between those two
Yeah.
bowls.
Mm-hmm.
where's the farm? Saanich Tunnel.
So still.
Okay, well,
So Nick's got
the last
he's
bowl.
got last bowl.
Got the hammer.
Across Wallace
This is a big shot, so he can draw in. He can try and use Susan or Bobby Jean's bowl as a wick in.
I can only see maybe 1 point out of this end, maybe.
Right.
there. But what we do is we farm properties that are owned by other people.
Right.
So we have 100.
Nick usually rises to these occasions.
All little farms.
Yeah, yeah. And some of them bigger, like the Jawls, who own
Looks good.
a lot of.
It looks good. It looks good. Oh,
Oh, beautiful.
what a
Wonderful.
shot.
Yep.
What a shot.
So now the first
Look at that. Oh,
taking over Woodwind Farms.
wow.
And other properties.
What a shot.
He pulled the one out of that one.
First Nations reserves.
He's always good at doing that.
And the Glen Meadows Golf Course, now that it's not a golf course anymore.
So Nick Bantock scores one on that end. And we have a tie game going into the 11th end. Couldn't ask for anything better.
Certainly, it's certainly a good match. Yeah.
I operate different,
You operate the machine?
yeah,
It all falls on this one last
and
bowl.
other odds and ends, but I try to
Lift
stay
the
off.
bales of hay.
Pardon?
Don't lift bales of hay.
No, I
Or do
stay
you
away
make those
from.
big bales?
We do,
Now it's getting down to the nitty gritty. You know, they both want to win, even though this is just a test match, just an, you know,
Yes. Yeah, yeah,
you
they're
just wa-
keeners.
yeah, you just want some fun. But, you know, they both really want to win this. They're both competitive.
So then, when I'm curling in the wintertime, they're the
I guess this will be bragging rights, right?
Yes. Yeah. It will be bragging rights for
Oh, and
sure.
it's going to be it's a long jack.
Farmer, like
It's
Susan's
in the,
dad.
it's in the blood.
Her dad, he was grew up in Saskatchewan and he
This is the inaugural
11
live stream for Island Bowls Live. And if you're interested in having your lawn bowling matches streamed on the South Island or on the mainland, drop by my website, islandbowlslive.ca. Love to have a chat with you about it. My intention is to try and raise the profile of this game and make it more accessible and give it more visibility. Encourage people to play. There's Joe's first bowl.
Yeah, Jeff, thanks for doing this. I think it's really good.
Yeah, it's a bit of a passion project for sure, but you know, I do love the game and think it deserves more people participating in it. It's a nice first ball from Susan.
Oh, she's gonna.
It's a terrific
She
shot.
just kissed that
That's
jack.
a terrific shot.
we couldn't even pay all of our interest, let alone any principal. And so you can only survive for a little while.
But somebody had enough money to pay, buy it.
12.
Well, yeah, what happened was Farm Credit Corporation, they took all of the equipment to an auction sale. So they recovered that.
Oh, that's a great shot.
I knew the writing
Oh,
was on the wall.
they're playing very well
Oh
right
my
now.
goodness. Susan lights out on that, you know, her bowl right up on the jack. It's tough. It's tough when you do it because
She needs some back bowls
you
right
can't
now.
see, right, you can't see the jack now from the mat end. And, you know, so now oh, it's a great shot.
Oh my goodness, that was good.
Yeah, it's a great shot. Now this is an end of bowls. Susan's put two beauties right in there. Joe's got one in there. For sure, I think Susan and Bobby Jean are
They're up two
up
right
two
now.
right now.
See what Joey can do. Oh, he's coming in
He's
hot.
coming in. So this is going to be interesting. He's going to try and disrupt that head. Looks perfect.
Oh, he helped Susan out.
So you can see on the replay that his bowl just tails off. Oh, doesn't
Amazing.
quite get, you know, what he's after. Here comes Susan.
Yeah, Susan needs a back bowl.
They knew the state that we were in, and accidentally the manager just seemed to almost
It's crossed.
Yeah.
be last
Okay.
night than what he was gonna sell.
The downside for Bobby Jean and Susan is that it's a big target now. Bill, big target in front of the jack.
Right. And Joe's got
And
all
Joe's
the back
got
bowls.
some back bowls back there, and so he's left it out a little bit. Yikes. So he was trying to take those out.
Yes.
Just got the line wrong. But that is the downside when you have your own bowls in front of the jack. It does present a bit of a target for your
So-
opposition.
Susan's got one left. Let's see what she can do. Maybe put it behind.
This looks good.
Oh, she's going for the jack.
Okay.
Yep.
It's not a bad spot for it. It's not a bad spot. Now, you know, if you're Nick, which way do you come in here? Because if you hit Susan's bowls, you know, kind of on the left, you know, on the,
You know, right now what I'm seeing is a billiard shot.
yeah,
If you
yeah,
if you hit that combination, the jack's going towards the
the
blue.
blue bowls, yeah. On the other hand, if you come in the other way and you hit the jack, it's going back towards you know, towards where Joe's bowls are. So,
Right. They got their bases covered.
yep.
Let's see what Nick's going to do with his first bowl.
Jack's a long way away. He's going to have to put some effort
And
behind
he
it.
is. He
There
is.
it is. Oh,
Yeah. See? See? Oh, he was going for the
just
combo.
missed. Just missed.
What's Bobby Jean going to do? Oh, it's slowing down. I thought she might want to put in a block.
Yeah, maybe he's just left it a little too short. Although sometimes, visual distraction,
Yes. Yeah, that can work.
it can work.
He's throwing this
He's
one
throwing
in.
this with some weight. He's trying to take these out.
Yeah, he wants that combination.
Just missed. Okay, so Bobby's trying to draw in, but I think she's going to leave it a bit short again.
Yeah, she's trying to stop Nick from.
Yeah. So she's trying to put some blockers in.
Right.
Yeah. Joe giving Nick some
That's a tough one.
feedback.
That'll be a tough one.
They're in a tough spot here. They're in a tough spot because at the moment it looks like they might be down 3.
Oh yeah, he's coming in.
He's coming. Oh, he's
No, it stayed
sent
out.
that a little wide. See, yeah. If you up your weight, you cut the bias down. The bowl is just not going to
Yes.
curve as much.
Yeah. You have to have the right weight to make it work properly.
Bobby Jean's sitting in a pretty good spot. She's going to try and put another blocker out there.
Yeah,
Yep.
That's what she's doing.
There you go. Her 3 bowls out front are intentional. This last shot, it's a big one. I think Nick is down 2 or 3 here. He's going to try and draw in. Nope. Nope.
It's not going to make it.
Not going to make it. Oh, there's one more bowl to come.
Yep. Bobby Jean's.
One more bowl to come. So it looks to me as though Bobby Jean might be up at least 2. This is big. This could put the game out of reach here.
Oh, it's out of reach now.
Yeah, I think if they score 2 or 3, I think it's going to make it very difficult in the last end to try and. Oh, maybe we're 2.
2 points.
Okay, so 2 points to Bobby Jean.
2 points. Susan got some nice bowls in there. So right now the score is 11-9. Susan's throwing the jack.
So I think we're in the 11th end. I think I had the ends wrong because we would normally end on a
Right.
12-ender going back the other
Right.
way. So
Right.
Susan's first bowl looks like a beauty again.
Well, Susan's coming
on it.
on.
Just looks great. That looks good too. Nice spot for Joe.
Yeah, good back pull. Susan needs to get something out the back.
Here comes Susan again. Again, if you're going to miss, you want to miss behind.
Exactly.
Joe. Lefty. Looks good. Nope, kind of cut across.
Yeah. Okay, Susan should put another one back there.
Yep. Maybe a little outside.
Yeah, it's a bit outside, but
Joe's outside too. Gonna come in? Not quite.
no. I can feel the tension.
Yeah,
I can
you know,
feel the
it's
tension, Jeff.
Oh, that's a great shot. Oh, that's a great shot.
Oh, it pushed it back to Joe.
See, you know, the unintended consequences, right? It rolls in, looks terrific, and ends up taking the jack back to Joe.
Mm-hmm. That's what back bowls are all about.
Yeah, no, that's a good example, right? That's why you want a back bowl.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
Oh, that's a great shot.
He got a
Now-
great wick.
So there you go. There's the game of bowls, right? You might have felt a little dejected last end because you gave up two, and now you're sitting there lying to.
Yeah. That was a nice
And
shot.
you know that's the advantage. That's the advantage of a you know a lead that puts the bowls right on the jack.
Exactly.
All right. So now Bobby Jean's got her work cut out for her.
Okay, she's gonna try.
She's
and
gonna
split
try and
that.
yeah. Oh, it looks good.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
look at that.
nice
She pushed it over.
shot.
She pushed it right over to her partners. That was
Nice
beautiful.
shot. Nice shot.
They're counting two right now.
Okay, now. It's again the advantage of having back bowls. You know, you've moved the jack onto your own, down to the 11th end,
And you're back to life.
and now you're back to life. Yeah. Okay, to me, I think they're still holding two, Bobby Jean and Susan.
Are you not photogenic enough to be up there?
No, I didn't get too professional for it. I'm one notch below.
I think she wants to stay up.
Here comes the bull. Oh, looks good. Oh, just didn't get by.
Okay, let's see what Nick can do. It stayed out.
Yep.
Okay. This looks,
Nope.
it stayed out too.
So Nick's got some thinking to do here.
That's a tough.
He's
it's a
down.
tough-
He's down two, right?
It's a tough one.
Down two in the 11th. Oh. Okay, actually, that might have cut him down, right?
Still up to one. They're
So
still-
now I
still-
think that's an interesting shot from Nick, because I think it cut Bobby Jean's side down to one from
Yes.
holding two. Comes Bobby Jean. Let's get a nice shot. Get around. Oh.
Okay, Nick's got the hammer.
So Nick's got to go around it. I think what Joe's calling for is to go in on the left-hand side of there of the rink.
Yeah, he's gonna put a backhand in.
It's tough shots. Yeah, I thought he might. You know, he's going to head
Yeah.
down to the end.
Yeah.
You'll see Bobby Jean in swift pursuit. Look, every player should take their opportunities. When someone visits down the head, follow in and just see what's going on down there. Get a different perspective. You'll see how much room there is. You'll be able to determine kind of what is your next best shot. It's interesting because obviously the jack wasn't, the jack was.
Well, Bobby Jean's staying down there. She wants to see this
she
last
wants
shot.
to see where this ends up. Here it comes.
and
It's gone too far.
it didn't work.
It's gone too far.
Okay, I can see 1 point there for Bobby Jean and Susan.
Yep, just one for Bobby Jean.
So that brings it to 12-9.
12-9.
Last end. This should be a
Well,
pretty
this
good
is
end.
this is going to be interesting because as a skip now you've got to score 3 to tie and 4 to win. That's no easy task. So
That's right.
You're right.
Right.
Historically, what you might choose to do is to try and put the jack as close to the dish as possible if you're Bobby Jean.
Yeah, and I think that's what she's going to want to do.
Right, so they've moved the mat up. The reason why you want your jack as close to the dish as possible because it makes it way more difficult to score multiple points.
I'm going to send you later today, our
I thought you'd be closer. to
Yeah, I think she's left that one a bit shorter than maybe she would have liked. you really are trying to make it very difficult for your opponents to pick up a multiple score here.
In by next week anyway.
For some reason, you seem to be able to make more points in a short game.
Yeah, exactly right. This is a great shot by Susan.
Oh, did she kiss that? She kissed it.
Looks like it might have been a
Yeah.
bit of a toucher, but it's a great position, right?
Yeah, that's a great back ball.
So yeah, you'll see that Bobby Jean did bring some chalk, so she'll mark that bowl. Which just means if that bowl ends up in the ditch, it's still live. It's still a counter.
But I'll send them later today. And I had a quick.
Now, if you're Nick Bantock and Joe Shiphorse, what are you trying to do here, Bill? You're just trying to put as many bowls around the jack as possible.
You want to surround it. You want to surround.
Right.
the
You're not
jack.
trying to take the jack back necessarily, or
No.
it's too. Yeah. Okay.
You let your skip take care of that.
Susan's put one out front, which again is a visual distraction. Nick comes in right away and says, "This is where I want it, Joe."
Yeah, he wants it behind.
Joe's put it perfectly, exactly. Oh, it's a great shot. Oh, it's a great shot.
He's put it between two of his bowls.
It's a great shot. You can kind of see here it just tucks in, nudges the jack back. Oh, it's a great shot.
Now, I've got
See what Susan can do.
people have sent me their posters.
Looks like a great shot from Susan too.
Oh, but she's got a good back ball. That's good.
So this end is actually shaping up very well for Nick and Joe. Down 3, holding 2. Here comes Joe. Started out pretty wide. Boy,
I think he was trying to block.
yeah, tried to put one in short. Although they need three to win. So I mean 3 to tie. So you need a strategy that's going to get you there. They're a little exposed, Bill, because they've got no back bowls.
That's true.
Susan's left hers short. This is going to come down to the skips.
Okay, I think
Comes Joe.
Joe's probably wanting to nestle that in there.
It looks good.
Yeah.
It looks really
Yeah,
good.
Oh yeah, see?
Looks
Oh, yeah.
good.
Look at that.
Great shot.
Now it's surrounded.
We can watch that bowl come in again. Look at that. Oh my goodness.
Mind you, all
What a
it takes
shot.
all it takes is one good shot to open that up again.
Right. Right. Now, to your point, that's a pretty big target.
You're right.
And because Joe's bowl's sitting in front of the jack, it's actually kind of potentially advantageous for Bobby Jean because she just touches that much larger target,
It'll push it back.
pushes it back.
And they've got 2 orange bowls back there.
Yeah. So this is interesting. Bantock and Shiphorse are up 3 at the moment. They're down 3 in the game. Here comes Bobby Jean's first bowl.
Oh.
Still think they're holding 3.
Now what's Nick
Here
trying
comes
to do?
Nick. Oh, that was almost perfect. I think he's trying to go for the win. If he can get a 4th in there, he could pull this
He
one
wants
out.
that, but I think Bobby Jean wants to make a mess of that, what they've got there. She
Yeah.
wants to open that right up.
Here comes Bobby Jean. Oh, she's on it. She's on it. Oh.
Oh.
You can see her bowl come in nicely. Oh, just if she had a little more weight. I think they're holding 2.
They're holding 2.
They're still down 3, so they've got to figure out a way. They've got to figure out a way to pull out a win here.
It's a tough one now.
So you've got Bobby Jean's bowl sitting there. You could try and remove it. That comes with risk because if it's on the jack, if that Bobby Jean's bowl goes on the jack, it's, you know, it's going to end up costing you.
Oh,
Okay, so that's interesting.
yeah.
So now what's the shot here if you're Bobby
I don't
Jean?
know. I think Bobby Jean should come in on a.
You know, for me, I think
a
she should
forehand.
try and take Joe's blue bowls out. Oh, it's trailed off. Okay.
Oh.
So Nick has 2 bowls left.
He's got the hammer.
He's got the hammer. He needs to score 3 to tie and 4 to win. Holding 2, it looks like at the moment.
Mhm.
You can see Nick walking after his bowl. Oh. Okay,
Yes.
so
That's what I call a wall.
now Nick promoted Susan's bowl in there. I think she's, it's tough to tell.
Well, I'm pretty sure they're still sitting 2.
So now if you're Bobby Jean, you're just defending, yes? You're just trying to make sure that they can't get more than 2, right?
That would be what I would be trying
So
to accomplish.
what would you do then? Would you throw up a blocker here, or would you draw in, or what would you do?
I draw in from the right
Right.
to going left, and just keeping it in that area.
Yeah. See, for me, I think I might try and get a blocker out there because those 2 blue bowls are really the counters. And Bobby Jean's pretty aggressive, so we'll see what she chooses.
does. All right.
Here it comes with some speed. Is it going to come over? Is it going to come over? Oh my goodness. Here's the replay.
Still 2?
It just touches the, oh my.
I think it's still 2.
Oh my goodness, this is a nail biter. This is a nail biter. Okay, so for sure Nick and Joe are holding 2. Nick's got last bowl. 3 to tie, 4 to win. He's right now trying to figure out exactly whose 3rd shot.
Right. Yes. Exactly.
And if he can figure out a way to move Bobby Jean and Susan's front bowls there, just ahead of Joe's blues, they could end up with 4.
That's a tall order, though. We'll see. We'll see.
Wow. Wow.
It's a good way to end this one.
This is a game. This is the last bowl. So, at a minimum, Nick, I think, is holding 2. There's a lot of discussion going on here, and I don't blame him. You know, it's like, how do you? What a game of bowls this has been. This has been absolutely fantastic. Shout out to Joe and Susan, and Nick and Bobby Jean, who
Showed up
and put on a great exhibition match for my very first live stream of lawn bowls on the island. It couldn't have gone any better. It's terrific. Well, here we go. It's the last shot. It's on its way.
Okay, he's putting some authority on it.
It's on its way. Is it going to get by? No, it doesn't.
They
Oh.
got 2 points.
Yeah, he confirms. He
They-
he confirms that they got 2, but in the end,
final
they fall
score.
one short.
12-11.
And that's it.
That was a great game.
What a
Super
terrific game. What a terrific game. And I want to thank everybody for showing up today and helping to put this on. It's been a terrific privilege of mine to bring streamed lawn bowls to South Vancouver Island and the mainland. And if you want to find out any information about how you might provide this for your club, reach out to me on islandbowlslive.ca, and I'd be happy to talk to you about it. I'm just trying to make the game of lawn bowls a little more higher profile on the island. And so, Bill, thanks very much for coming out. And
I enjoyed it.
Did
It
a
was fun.
terrific job. And
Excellent game to watch.
excellent game to watch, and we hope we'll be back. We'll be back soon.
Super fun.
Okay. Well, take care, everybody, and thanks for coming out.
Thanks for watching.